Hey, it's Rob. Welcome back to Axel's Garage. We are continuing along with Cosmo. That's the 2000 Jeep Cherokee that Emily drives, that needed a U-joint and wound up getting everything because rust. So we're up to ball joints. So got my ball joint press out here, which is covered in grease. And we're gonna get the ball joints and get them put in. So just a little tip that hopefully will work out. But years ago when I started and I worked in a mom and pop auto parts store with a small machine shop in the back, we used to do a lot of pressed in bushings and control arms and stuff in the older cars, and we used to put the bushings in the freezer overnight. And then when we went to press them in, the shrinkage, the little, microscopic level shrinkage that the metal housings, the bushings would be in, that made a difference on how hard or easy it was to press in. So, not that I've ever seen anybody do this before, but I thought, you know what, that might not be a bad idea for these ball joints, because they were a bear to get out. So we got the ball joints out in a previous video, and we cleaned up and wire wheeled down the whole front end really, and gave it a coating of paint, and I was able to run a wire cup wire wheel through the upper and lower portions where these ball joints press in. And then we painted everything. So I'm going to get just a little piece of scrap, emery cloth or sandpaper or something, just to clean out the paint from the surface where the ball joint is going to be pressed in, just because I don't want any paint buildup to make it harder to press the ball joints in. So once I get that metal clean, then we're going to go ahead with the second ball joint, or the lower ball joint first, which is in the freezer. I'm going to leave it in the freezer until the last minute, with the hopes that shrinkage of it being cold in the freezer will help it press in easier. And we'll see if the old school trick works, or really doesn't make too much of a difference in this application. Alright, so I got everything cleaned out. I did have a burr on this upper one, and I just knocked the burr off. I didn't try to grind any metal away with a half-round metal file, and hopefully that'll work out. So what I'm going to do is take a little of my super coat that you guys know I use on everything. It's a synthetic white grease, and I'm just going to, remember, these are supposed to be a press fit, not a rust fit. So rust isn't supposed to make them fit in. I'm going to put a little bit in there just to hopefully help the ball joint slide in a little easier, and to prevent it from rusting in for when they have to be removed in the future. Hopefully this is the last time. So here's my ball joint, my lower, fresh out of the freezer, and it should go in just like that. You can see it fits all the way up to the knurling. What I'm going to do is find a cup that fits on the outside. That one fits nice on the outside. Okay, and probably give it a couple of whacks. Yeah, I'll give it a couple of whacks with a hammer just to hold it in place while we set the press up. I really don't want to take a ton of time and let this nice cold joint wear out. Oh, I can't even get it to start with some light taps, so who knows if that idea works or doesn't work, but doesn't appear to be doing anything for us. This is going to allow it to slide up and in, so I think we're going to put our press together like this. Looks like it's going in straight. Remember, I'm using a short ratchet here. So once I got my setup where I like it, the ball joint actually seems to be going in nice and easy. It was really more about my setup than anything else. So now I don't know here, I'm like less than 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch before it seats on the bottom. I'm just not sure if I'm bottoming out on this cap now, so I'm going to loosen it up and check my height and see what it's like there. So I'm almost all the way up. So I can go back down. So it's starting to go a little bit crooked. So I'm just going to readjust my tool here. So that this bottom cup is centered a little better. See how it moves as soon as, that's why they make those tapered ones. They do make tapered ones that are made for these axles, which helps you drive them in square. I think I'm close enough where I could see if the impact might help a little. And it seems to be going pretty square. Give it a little tap. I'm going to loosen it just so I can try to center my cup again. I will link in the description a set of tapered cups that are supposed to make these type of Dana 30s and Dana 44s easier to do. I might think about buying them for the next job, but this isn't too bad. It's almost there. didn't want it to come all the way off. I'm just repositioning my tool here. None of them fit real snug on the lower ball joint. I'm trying to get this one in a spot where I like it. So it's definitely a little bit of trial and error back and forth. I can see it sucking in still. Alright, the back is seated all the way. It's the front, it's like a fingernail width. When guys were talking about having an issue needing the tapered ones, now I know exactly what they're talking about. Okay, now I moved it over a little. Let's see if that's gonna turning ever so slightly. Oop, that might work. Yeah, there it goes. Yep. There it goes. Nice. That's in all the way. So I don't know if the cold helped or not, but this is in all the way, and you can see how it's not flush with the axle housing itself, right? But if you look on the bottom, all the way around, the flange on the ball joint is pressed up tight against the axle housing. So that is in straight, it's in all the way. Took a whole lot of trial and error to get a good setup, and it also took a lot of effort to get it in, but it's in. Like I said, I don't know if putting it in the freezer helped at all, but we're in. I'm happy. On to the upper ball joint. All right, upper ball joint, same thing, only it goes in from the top, right? And wow, that upper ball joint really slid into there nice. Let me see what kind of cup I have to go on it. That cup fits nice. All right, you can see that upper ball joint goes in there. I'm almost able, with the cold, I guess, get this thing in. Without the press. Wow. It is going in there. Oh, so maybe the cold trick does do something. Alright, seems to be pretty tight there. Alright, you got the flange, but you also have that flanges all the way up to the top here, so you're not actually pressing on the internal part. So you can put this cap right on, which works. And then on the bottom, probably just use a small one. Will be big enough. I may want to put one of these circle pieces on the bottom. Help keep it located. Alright, so you saw the whole thing moved. So I'm going to loosen it just a touch and get this bottom cup back where we want it. That's the drawback. That's why those tapered ones work so much better. Fighting the slippage here. Yep. And I thought about buying the tapered ones. I said, maybe I'll buy them. And I said, nah, I could do it. I don't see that much of a taper. Well, apparently there's enough of a taper where it's going to keep moving your tool on you and drive you batshit crazy. So tight. Give it a little tap. Tighten it a little. See if it moves. See? As soon as you go to really turn down on it, it's going to move. So I'm going to go with a bigger cup, I think. Take this off. I don't like how this is working out. Alright, so again, I'm at a spot here where the YouTube said it was going to work. and it really don't work as described. I like it on this side better. It doesn't want to move the same when the clamp is on this side. Okay, now you can see it going in. And I am only using a short ratchet here, but you could see how even with the short ratchet it's going down. Once you get it straight, and I am guessing that my freezer trick might have something to do with that. Alright, so now if I check my gap, I got no gap over here, and I got almost no gap there. There might be a hair of a gap. I could crank it down a little more. Give it a little tappy tap right here. Oh. That is it. That is it, and that's in all the way. So having this on this side as opposed to this side, although I liked it, swung around to the left, I felt more comfortable using it that way, just, I guess, the way I see it. Made a big difference in driving it in straight without the tapered tools. Very nice. So now after the knuckle is on, once we put the knuckle on and put these ball joints in, then you got to grease the two zerks. So you get a fitting for the bottom one, you get a fitting for the top one. The fitting in the top one is going to stay the whole time. On the bottom one here, you're going to take it, you're gonna put your knuckle on, tighten the bolt down, put your cotter pin in. You're going to grease it up really good, and then you're going to take the grease fitting out, and there's a cap that's going to go in here, because if you left the grease fitting in, chances are your U-joint on your axle going through here is going to knock that grease fitting right off. Your grease is going to come out, water's going to get in, you're going to have a disaster. So you're going to grease it, plug it, and you're good to go. This one is serviceable for the life of the vehicle. This one, if you wanted to grease it again, you'd have to rotate. I don't know if there's enough room in there to rotate the axle into a position where you could put a grease fitting in here and re-grease it. If not, every time you take that axle out, you'd want to re-grease the bottom, but hopefully these are going to last and we won't have to worry about it. We'll grease it good the first time, and that'll be it. So now the upper ball joint comes with a grease boot installed, and that stays in there during the installation process. You don't take the grease boot out. You leave that in there. The bottom one, however, doesn't come with the grease boot installed, and you install it, and then you're going to slide the grease boot up and over, and when you put your knuckle on and tighten it down, that'll smush and hold the grease boot in place. And then when you fill them, both of the grease boots are going to bulge as well as they should, and that covers your boots, because I know there was some question on the boots. But that's it for these. So I'm going to do the other side off camera, and hopefully they go in just as easy. It was pretty easy. I mean, once I figured out my setup, and now that I know my setup, I think the other side will go in a lot faster. That's it today from Axel's Garage. Upper and lower ball joints done. Trying to break this series into smaller videos so that you don't have to be watching for so long. But I enjoy it when you do. Let me know in the comments below whether I should get that kit. Is it worth the 30 bucks? I'll link it in the description. Is it worth the 30 bucks, or should I just struggle a little bit like I did? Would it make it that much easier? Did the freezer trick help me, or did it not really make a difference? I think it helped because I was able to drive this one in without even putting a long-handled ratchet or a breaker bar on it. I did it with my regular Craftsman, you know, standard-sized half-inch drive ratchet handle. So, you know, I think the freezer trick might have helped a little bit. Don't know. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.